Hey guys, welcome to Popcorn, the home where the popcorn's hot, the opinions are hotter, and film and TV takes center stage. I'm your host, Jace. Is Wonder Man the hero that Marvel really needs right now? That's what we're going to be talking about in this episode today. Let's take a look at the trailer. It stars Yahya, Abdul-Mateen II, and Ben Kingsley. Two of my favorite, honestly, my favorite heroes, actors. Especially Ben Kingsley. He has to be a Marvel legend right now, to be fair. He's been in it since Iron Man 3? And then Yahya Abdul, he's if you know about him, he's a massive movie geek, to be fair. He's been in Aquaman. He's also been in what's it called? He's also been oh Christ. I need to look that up quickly. He's been in Wonder Man. He's also been Candyman. He's also been in Matrix Revolutions as Morpheus. And he's been in Watchmen as well. As Mr. Manhattan, that's it. So the original Wonder Man was played by was a white guy in the comic books, and then he's going to be a black guy in this TV show, which is cool. There's no issue with that, because his race doesn't really play a major factor into who he is. And Yahya's an excellent actor, to be honest. Show's very grounded. It's clearly playing on the satire of the boredom of the consistency, the repetition of comic book characters in the cinema, and people may be getting bored of that. Whereby this is talking about the comic book characters, but in not a comic book way. It's more grounded, similar to what Netflix was doing with Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones. Okay, so in America it's coming out on the 27th of January. In the UK it's coming out on the 28th. So in this show, there's no real major catastrophes happening. There's no massive world beams happening. This feels very smaller, very grounded, very personal, shall I say. I think that will be it's kind of like a love letter from Marvel to the fans, understanding that the fans are getting very fatigued with the superhero genre. So they're trying to still keep in the genre of superhero, but trying to bring it down to more simplistic type of view. Really enjoying it. Really enjoy that trailer, to be honest. So today we're going to be talking about some topics. So I'm going to talk about what comics this Marvel could possibly use for inspiration for this TV show. The whole idea of this show in general. And the main question, is Wonder Man the hero that Marvel really needs? So who is Wonder Man? So the character's first name is Simon Williams. The first comic book that you saw him in was Avengers number 9. He was actually brainwashed by Baron Zemo, and that's how he was a bad guy. And then he got killed off, and then he got resurrected and became an Avenger. Which I'm really looking forward to seeing if they're going to bring him back. Because obviously Baron Zemo is actually in Marvel at the moment, in MCU. He hasn't, from my knowledge, I don't think he's been killed off. So therefore, you can like touch on it like in his past and think about all the stuff that like you can make him think about all the issues that he had in the past and him trying to resurrect his personality, resurrect his view to the audience, not to the audience, to him being out there. And then that can be touching on the comic books slightly, but yeah, we'll see how they play on that. His power set. So let's talk about his power set a bit. So ionic blast. I'm not sure if you get to see that in the trailer actually, but you do get to see his strength, and his massive struggle with identity. This very much reminds me of Luke Cage and the fact of basically in Luke Cage, the Netflix TV show, he went into he was a criminal. He wasn't really a criminal. He was a criminal, but he went into prison, and then to come out of prison, he had to go through. They offered him a chance to be a test subject, basically, and that test subject went completely wrong, and he basically died. But then he was reborn as Luke Cage, Power Man, and he had loads of power, loads of strength, and became bulletproof. But in similar fashion to this, you could play on it and show that he was a man with issue. And he had to rekindle that issue, try to figure it out, and then how does the public perceive his image? So that's why he's gone in. That's possibly why he's gone into acting to make his image much better. And obviously, he must have been an actor previously to that, so he wants to become this new character who is Wonder Man, in the comics, in the TVs, in the show's TV show, if that makes sense. First impressions of the trailer, it's extremely grounded, more introspective. This feels more like Marvel trying to rebuild trust with the user, the audience, and you can clearly tell that we don't want this. It's not really like any major like catastrophes happening. Well, at the moment, as you can see in the trailer, there's no major catastrophes. It's very, very grounded. And so let's see what I would like to see who the big bad will be in this show, and see how they play on that. Which comics could Marvel be using? So, which comics could Marvel be using as a reference or inspiration for this show? Wonder Man, that came out, is a solo comic book solo series that came out in 1991. They could be using that. In that he tackles a lot with fame, public figure, ego versus responsibility. The trailer seems to build on this character quite a lot. There's also Avengers number 9. Which I'll put up, and obviously I'll put up some images of that. Definitely, that's where he was the lead. Well, he was part of the West Coast Avengers. Someone who's trying to prove they belong with the Avengers. Marvel seems to be modernizing this instead of retelling the exact story that's in the comics. So that'll be really interesting to see in this TV show. It's obviously playing on a lot of satire. There's parts in this show that I thought in this trailer that, especially with Ben Kingsley, and his comedic presence is awesome. He has an awesome comedic presence. Seeing the relationship between Yahya and Ben Kingsley's character coming together to see if they can achieve their goals. But I'm correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it didn't show who the main bad guy is in the trailer, so I'm really confused. It is a power like a superhero show, but I don't know who he's gonna fight against. To be perfectly honest. The trailer seems very self-aware of what's going on in the industry at the moment, and the fact that there's loads of comic book movies out there. I do feel like they're definitely trying to rebuild trust with the audience, trying to show the audience that they understand the fatigue that we're going through with superhero movies, but this one's going to be different. Let's see how they achieve that, because they need to do something to break out of the norm. So my final thoughts on this, is it going to work? Hopefully it does. He is a flawed character. He is very human, very grounded. Clearly, he can definitely mix it up with Daredevil, Spider-Man, to be fair. In some ways, well, in a lot of ways, Spider-Man, because obviously Spider-Man in A Brand New Day is going to be very grounded. Daredevil, as mentioned, Luke Cage, if they do Luke Cage show. Moon Knight as well. Very similar to Moon Knight, obviously, with the self-aware and trying to deal with the mentality that Moon Knight had. So, and he was very grounded. That show was very grounded as well. But it did have, like, gods. But I could see them bringing him into that kind of, like, the TV shows being part of that type of grounded type of Marvel MCU look, where the movies are more of the spectacular and world-ending situations. I could see the two, how they can use both mediums in different ways. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think. These are obviously my opinions. I really love to see what you guys think. So please leave your comments down below. Obviously, like and subscribe. There's going to be loads more of me talking about these trailers. Not only Marvel, but TV shows and other movies as well. Cheers. Thanks, guys.